language is a great tool, but it's also, it seems like it's the way we language life is the mother of all evil.
Yes, yes. You could say that, you can see it that way. But evolutionary speaking, the language developed for us to function better, to accomplish our tasks easier,
to survive,
to build started building when we got out of cave, to build our primitive
structures
and to create tools, right? To create tools so we can go and cut meat and do
whatever we did back then, and now we keep doing it. We're building bridges and
then we went into when we stopped collecting, hunting and gathering completely and went into agriculture. There's more necessity for tools, and all of it required
verbalization,
abstract thinking, right? Abstract thinking, and kind of creating prognoses of what our action will result in. So we created, at some point of our evolution, we created past and the future, right? And that was a great invention. And in that space of past, present, and future, language actually got developed and matured. Because our language, created for us these abstract areas, of the past and the future. We developed abstract thinking, right? We say, we can do this tomorrow. Tomorrow we will go and hunt that elephant, right? Well, tomorrow is a tremendously complex concept. But it's easy for us now. We have all these words. Tomorrow. Where's tomorrow? Tomorrow will never come, obviously. It's only now.
So the primitive humans think about tomorrow?
Well, that's probably the moment where our human beingness got born. Humankind showed up, right?
Planning for future.
when we developed enough distinctions in words to be able to speak of the past and the future. And both are needed for function. Past is needed and future is needed. We need to know where we came from yesterday and where we're going tomorrow, and so on. So all this complex architecture, and so how all of it relates now to our quest. Now we are on the quest to examine, to truly witness what separates us
from the life that we love.
Yeah. So essentially, we are thinking about from the state where we came from as a children.
Which is exactly what that was.
Yeah.
We love our life.
Assuming we never lost that state, right? And now we see clearly we didn't, because that state, what happened to us, we covered that state by the layers of words and concepts, right? By abstract representations. So we ended up living in the abstract world. Abstract world.
Oh my God! So we were in the real. So we kind of lived in the real world as children.
We lived in the real world, exactly.
And we started slowly meandering into
abstraction,
the abstract, unreal.
Yeah, matrix.
But we were born into the matrix, though.
We were born into the game into a game. Well, I would say into the game of how life itself chose to manifest itself in this particular situation. In this, so I would say, okay, in a simple way, I would say that life itself, right? Life itself. Maybe it's a little bit premature to talk about it, but I will anyway. It's
in some sense. It's not.
It's because you asked about it.
Yeah.
We are born into certain condition, right? It's a condition, right?
Yeah.
We could have been born in the time of Roman Empire. That would be a different condition. We could have been born in the cave when people lived in the cave. We could have been born, last century or today, or we can be born in million years from now. All of it will be different
and
conditions.
Essentially, because time doesn't exist, we are simultaneously in all time zone, in all time, in all...
It's a space-time. That's what Einstein developed, and now it goes even beyond that. Time and space doesn't even exist at all. Already proven by quantum mechanics. There's a new formulation. We will not go about it.
Not go into it right now.
So it's all. So now, time and space only can be the only real application for these terms would be as our psychological processes. There is no other at the level where quantum mechanics is and science is in general and many different manifestations right now, is that time and space are our psychological processes. So it's a structural elements or structural conditions for our mind to be what it is. So this is the way how mind relates to reality, right? To that very narrow connection which it still has with reality. Because we live in there, really, our mind is a space of a total abstraction, like we just talked. I mean, it's a conceptual space. The mind is a conceptual space. Get present to it. There is no experiences in the mind at all. It's just words. It's just words and the flow of thoughts. Compulsive thinking is going through your mind all day long, right? It's a compulsive thoughts. You are not in charge of it. Thoughts are coming and going. And
unending chatter.
On average, scientifically proven that every human being
has
around 70,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
70,000 thoughts. 69,500 of them are absolutely useless.
We're in big trouble.
So, those are 69,500 or more thoughts. They're not necessary for functioning. Not only that, but they're counterproductive.
They're destructive.
They're destructive.
Illness causing.
Anxiety
causing. Depression causing.
They are so-called negative thoughts. Negative in the way that thinking those thoughts compulsively creates emotional charge.
In essence.
Emotional charge, feeling of
inadequacy.
feeling of shame and guilt. You know what I'm saying? And
In
all
essence.
and the hurt and all the fears and insecurities and regrets and worries about future and all of it. So all of it is generated, all that emotional charge is generated by all the 65,500 thoughts that we experience during the day, right? And that flow of thoughts is a number one obstacle on the way between us and experience of life that we love. That flow of thoughts, that negative emotions that are generated from those thoughts are now the biggest block. Like a Chinese wall surrenders the experience of being alive, which is still here.